Welcome to the Flex Forward podcast, where grit meets growth. With your host, Nick Espanet, bringing you stories of resilience, reinvention, and the real climb to success.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. Today, we're joined by Jorge Cardenas. Jorge is works for the city of Brownsville down in the very southern tip of Texas. Beautiful area down there. He's over there. He's very involved with their IT department. He's also a smart cities strategist and advocate. Jorge, welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. I'm so excited to have you join us today. Can you let our listeners know a little bit about you and a little bit about what you do with your job?
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much, Nick, for having me here. The podcast is so as a CIO for the city of Brownsville, my background is 8 years in the Marine Corps, 9 years in the Department of Defense or Department of War space, 4 years in the private sector. Now I've been 4 years a CIO for the city of Brownsville. And my goal here in the city of Brownsville is to make sure that we improve and get the best services and technology possible to provide a great customer service to the community. So really enable all businesses and residents with technology.
Awesome. First of all, thank you for your service through many years. I really appreciate that. What a neat thing. You don't think about that, but cities have to compete or be part of the IT and keep advancing too, just like any other business. You think about all the stuff that goes on in the behind the scenes in the city, from traffic lights that need to all be timed. And, I had a daughter get a parking ticket yesterday, and just IT wise, I was frustrated. I went and sat down with her and I was like, all right, we're going to pay this. Well, it said, you can't pay it for 7 days. I'm like, oh, darn, now we got to remember to pay this in 7 days. But getting, that to me, with technology nowadays, you expect she got a scan ticket on her car. Like, I was surprised we couldn't pay it a couple hours later. But the city, I live in Fort Worth, so eventually maybe they'll get there. But it's like, what do they got to do for 7 days? That keeps. I'm getting off on a tangent, but keeps going. But what a neat thing that cities, are doing that and being proactive to get stuff more IT savvy within the cities.
Yeah, so I think that's the key, right? Is always looking at technology as a way of providing a better service. To your point, something as simple as paying a ticket can cause a lot of trouble on your side, the one that got the ticket, but also on the city side, because there is a lot of things going on behind the city, that technology is expensive. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that we want to make sure that we prioritize everything that is happening. But um, what you mentioned is something that we've been able to automate here in Brownsville and many other services, just getting a birth record, right? Something it was done here that it was needed, and it's just to provide a better service. But I could tell you a lot of that comes from the funds available for each project, and also how much what the impact is going to be. That's one of the main things, and I think as city CIO, it is my job to bring it up to the board members, mayor, commissioners, and city manager, where, hey, this is a problem that we've seen, and this is how we could solve the problem,
Where we
and
need to
this
put
is
some
how we'll
funds.
affect. Yeah, that's key. My job is to advocate for those areas and say this area need a attention.
Well, and I wonder with her situation if there's some legal, like there's state or city law that says it has to pass through so many hurdles or doors before it can be paid. Because just like your bank now, you deposit a check on your phone, you see it, you could pull it up on your laptop and it pops up right away. But yeah, so I thought there might be something that's interesting because you have to balance the budget with that too. Yeah, I'm sure you would like tons of stuff, but the city says we only have this many dollars to apply to it, so we have to prioritize what items we can implement until we have more money to do the others.
And a lot of the things, everything, this is a great example, but many things have a process, right? On this case, a ticket, that ticket is issued, a paper gets, probably she had it on her windshield. So that paper gets collected by the traffic officer, and then by the time it gets back to the office, by the time it gets processed, and they have already many other traffic,
Hmm.
violations, stacked. So it takes time, but when you automate that process, it's like as soon as you get it in there, you scan it, it populates the information, or you print it out, and it's already automatic in the system.
Hers was printed. It wasn't a handwritten. It was printed. That's why I thought, oh, it's printed, so it probably went right into the system. But like it
Yeah,
was look like something that had printed on about a 5 or 6 inch piece of paper. Um,
yeah. So it's
so
just a lot of behind it, a lot of manpower behind it, and it's just sometimes just
well,
streamlining a process.
it's a good lesson for a teenager to pay attention to where they park because she didn't even. My wife went out and saw the ticket on the car at our house, so she drove all the way home. My wife's like, "Didn't you see this on your
Oh wow.
windshield?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, how did you drive 10 miles with it probably flapping in the wind and not even notice?" She didn't even realize it was on the windshield. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
That's
hey, I've got 3 teenage girls. Well, one's 20 now, so only 2 teenage girls now in the house. So
okay.
it's well, one's away at school. Well, awesome. Well, in the IT world and what you're doing, I'm sure there's a lot of competition. What is something that sets you apart from what you're doing sets you apart from what others do, possibly?
I think for me is the mentality. For me, I'm very visionary. I always think about the future. What can we change to have a better future? So for me, being able to, as a global CIO, what I would name myself, right, is I've been to many countries around the world that have allowed me to see what works, what doesn't work, what really looks nice but doesn't work, and what looks ugly and works, right? So for me, is what sets me apart, and I can tell you right now, there is no other city in the U.S. that is doing what Brownsville is doing, and that is, from just simple wire connections, fiber optics, to a full blown AI factory that we have built here in the city. So, and all that is coming from my experience. So I know there's a lot of great CIOs out there, and I'm not saying I am the best, but I can tell you, I am at the top of that list where I know a lot of the how cities operate and how federal government, how the military operates, and many people out there do not. They've been very specific in a area, and they just that's what they know.
That's awesome. Yeah, and just all your different life experiences and travels have kind of led to where you are. That's great. And I think listeners, you can do that. Just wherever you're at in life now, use that time as an experience to make whatever your goal is that you can be building your skills and your knowledge for what your end goal is. So very good
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
What
You got
what
to
is
learn
some
everywhere you go.
Oh yeah, great bullet, great little point there is, take whatever situation you're in and learn. I mean, it may be
Yeah,
good or bad, but you learn and grow from that current
correct.
situation is
Yeah.
important. So what is something that you maybe found easy that others found challenging as you've kind of made your career path journey to get to where you're at?
So I think that for me, I won't say it was easy, but it was natural, right? Is for me to just get to different sectors in the workforce, and that's something that many people at my level have not done. Most people who stay in banking or local government or federal, they just stay in that sector for their whole life, their whole career. For me, it's like just moving up that ladder has given me that ability to implement things that are not typically seen in a local government in this case, right? Or me going to the private sector, me implementing things that are done in the military. So for me, is being able to be successful everywhere that I've been by utilizing and all the skills and knowledge that I have from my past. So it has not been easy, but I can tell you is it helps when you have the knowledge and skills and the resources, because people that help you a lot as well.
No, very good. Yeah, taking those challenges on. So, if someone's listening and wants to get better at, either their business life or some walk in life, what is something you suggest? You have any books or podcasts, anything that you've done that others may also utilize?
I mean, for me, I read a lot. So I read a lot of books. Like just today, just reading the book. It's a small book. It's called the Influence Formula by John Maxwell. So
Yeah.
it has a bunch of little sections that really teaches you how to influence others to do the right thing or the wrong thing too, right? Because influence can go either way.
Mm.
I read a lot. I try to read at least a book a week, and
Oh wow,
also I
that's
wake
awesome.
up in the morning and just go straight to reading what is happening in the world. Wall Street Journal, constantly reading articles on technology. And the last one I would say is that will help, people a lot is having a good network, having people that and really know. When people say network is, I'm not talking about collecting business cards. I'm talking about actually meeting people and getting them to remember you. And you can actually pick up the phone or send them a message and they will reply and they remember you. So those are the things that I think will help you a lot, because to get a job, to get help on anything that you want, is I say all my titles of my jobs have been, I've been able to get a job because of people I know in organization.
But I think that's networking in relationships, building those deep relationships, not like you said, not just swapping business cards or digital cards, whatever it is nowadays, but following up with that person, at least with a phone call or a Zoom. If you're in the same town, grabbing lunch or coffee, sometime to get to know them better is so important in getting those deep, lasting relationships. And whatever your career path is, IT or real estate or healthcare, you may be able to help them at some point. You may be able to may need to call on them, but it's just great. I think we need that relationship kind of tribe, and having those deep relationships is so important.
Yes, that it is the key. So you gotta make sure you have good resources around you.
As you've kind of gone along your journey, what's one of the biggest challenges have had to overcome?
I mean, I think the biggest challenges for every IT leader is how fast technology is moving, and
Mhm.
how IT before COVID was a department that was just an expanse, right? That's how people saw IT in the world. I think after COVID, now the past 2 3 years, we started to see that that's changing. Technology departments are now actually at the front. They're actually leading the revolution, or the growth of an organization. So I think that was always the biggest challenge, is funds in the IT department. And cities now working in a city is how cities really don't put the funds needed for an IT department, especially in this era of how fast technology is moving.
Yes, yeah, they definitely have to focus on that. And I think I feel like that technology in the last few years has really become a focus because 10 years ago, maybe they were thinking, I wasn't aware of it near to the level as I am now. So, but I'm sure you guys were thinking about it. So, congratulations. It sounds like things are going really well in business and you're made a lot of strides, but it's a lot of busy executives are financially doing well. They have to also focus their time to make that money. Back before I was doing what I do now, I was in the physical therapy world. I needed to see patients to have that income. So as folks start looking to the future, they start considering more passive sources of income, maybe investing in different things. It can be stocks, bonds, real estate. If you have any thoughts on passive uh, alternative investments?
Yeah, so I think one investment is invest in yourself, right? I think that's the main thing. You got to always keep learning. But I do own my own company as well. Uh, so Technology Business Solutions, and we do a lot of the consulting for organizations that want to modernize IT infrastructure, and now for cities who want to build a smart city roadmap. So I think that's every person out there should start looking into a way of bringing extra streams of revenue, right? Because just by, Jim Ron said on one of his videos is that you got to work on yourself, and you gotta, if you work hard on your job, you make a living, but if you work hard on yourself, you make a fortune. So you have to really look into, what is it that you're doing, and what are you good at, and start maybe creating those extra, areas of business or whatever, so you can get a little bit more money to coming in.
For sure. And I love Jim Rohn. I got a quote taped on the wall behind my sign. That's what I was looking. I'm like, oh, it's covered up. But a Jim Rohn quote about don't wish for an easier path, wish for the skills to overcome it. I'm butchering it, but something along those lines. That, yeah, he's got a lot of great quotes, and
Yeah,
that
I
talks.
love it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that guy. So always I try to go back, and I play even for my kids, and some of the team members here at work is like just small little quotes that they can change your mentality.
no, yeah, it's looking at different. For me, it was changing how I looked at a problem. Like there was a time where something went wrong. I'm like, oh, the world's ending. Why is this? Why me? But I'm like, hey, no, that's a problem. It's here. We need to address it, and can we grow from it? And yeah, we work with our kids, teach them that. Like we encourage you to fail, but I don't want you to fail a spelling test because you didn't study. But I want you to fail because you're trying something out of your comfort zone. And when you do fail, get up and dust yourself off, and learn from it.
Yeah.
Make the next shot, make the next attempt at whatever you're trying to do. But Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he figured out how to make the filament for the light bulb. Or you know, there's all kinds of examples like that. That you're not getting it right on the first try.
No, you got to keep trying, and you really have to put it on yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. In the Marine Corps, we said everything is earned, nothing is given. So you have to work for what you really want.
Very true. Well, as we're wrapping up the interview, do you have any exciting plans or initiatives for the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a lot going on in the here in the city of Brownsville, but also personally, for me is getting a lot more involved in my, business, and just meeting people. I'm actually going to Spain next month to
Oh, neat.
was invited for a panel discussion out there. So I'm gonna take the time off, and just go out there and talk to, meet people around the world. The conference is called World Conference in Barcelona, Spain, and then in the summer, hopefully going to, either UAE, the United Emirates, or Saudi Arabia to again try to get some of those contacts, and work a little bit more on myself, right? That's the part that I'll be working on myself there.
That's awesome. Sound like you have some great plans coming up in travel. That'll be so exciting to get to do that. So, Jorge, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your tips and insights with our listeners. If people would like to get in touch with you and learn more about what you do, what's the best way to make contact?
I think that for me is I'm on LinkedIn. They can find me on LinkedIn, and that'll be the best way to contact me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's been great getting to know you and chat with you a little bit. And listeners, thank you for joining on the Flex Forward podcast. Be sure to like and share this episode. Jorge, thank you again. It's been great to visit with you.
No, thank you, Nick. Thank you for the time.
Thanks for listening to the Flex Forward podcast. If you've got grit, growth, and a great story, visit flexforwardpodcast.com/guest to apply and join us on the show.